Oh, it's been a weird semester thus far, and I am traveling once again and not able to spend time with you. Even though you don't miss me, I miss you, and I wish that I could be there with you, but that's okay. You've got tons of other things that you need to take care of. The one thing I will tell you is this is pretty much the last travel that I need to do, and the good part is that this is working to develop partnerships that can further your opportunities when you work with the University of Georgia and the New Media Institute. All right, that's my disclaimer. Here are some things you got to know about today. First of all, on the grades for the exam. You guys saw all the grades. Let me explain just briefly. Yeah, we had to drop out 10 of those questions because everybody got them right. That's not a good question. Remember we talked about that? So I was pretty tolerant. I let questions in that 98% of the class got right. But there were 10 of them that just weren't good questions and didn't discriminate at all. And I can explain that more when we really get down to it. But bottom line, remember, a test that discriminates, a question that discriminates, the people who did well on the test got the question right, and the people who did poorly on the test got the question wrong. So we eliminated some of those questions that everybody, whether you got a good grade on the test or not, got it wrong. So we eliminated those 10. It didn't change the grades very much, a point or two either way. And so we felt like that was a pretty good compromise. And I backed off on my throwing out anything that less than 10% of the people, that were missed by less than 10% of the people. So anyway, look at your grades. Here's what I will tell you. I know some of you stress about this time about whether you want to drop the class or not. Man, that's a high grade on the class. 87% on the test when we normally expect 78% of the people to get it right. That's pretty good. So you'll do okay. But feel free to talk to me before the drop ad is over. But I will tell you that it would be a shame to see you lose all the hard work that you've done now because you believe that this test somehow would damage your grade. Anyway, I'm always open to talk more about it. Remember, there were a couple of things about the chits. I'm going to have to straighten that out via email. I'll tell you that you will still get credit for those. We had 5 people who scored a perfect score on this test. That is a record. We will be talking about that later, and those people will get chits. Well, the people who got the extra votes, you can read the syllabus to determine how that will work out. But we're going to add those chits at the very end. So remember, you're collecting them all along the way, and they'll be important there. Let me just say, basically, that was a weird experiment for how to do the test. I'm going to look forward to hearing what you guys think about how the experiment worked. I don't like the fact that it was 87%, but I got to say that it felt a little closer to what you might encounter in the real world, working together. I found it fascinating that you guys collaborated to share questions, and maybe that's the way it should be. I don't know. So if you got ideas about how to improve this experience, send me an email. Let me know, because I do believe it's important to constantly be changing things up a little bit to see if we can find a better way. I can tell you that I feel a lot better that we didn't kill over 4,000 pieces of paper. 4,000 sheets of paper to damage that many trees. So, hey, I think that was a success. And nobody got hurt, and even though I'm disappointed, there was very limited crying. I do live for those tears, but hey, maybe next time. Let me tell you about what else is going to be happening. Man, the presentations start on Monday of next week. I had someone come to me. Here's where I get tolerant again, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to extend the date when the websites have to be done until Monday by class time. You have Monday until class time to get your website up and running. So keep that in mind. And yes, I'm generous. You should love me very much. But let's talk about those presentations. You know when your presentation is. Here's the things that I'm going to give you that are going to be a tip. Remember, you have 7 minutes. 7 minutes to do your presentation. All right, that's it. I'm going to yank you off after that. You've got 1 minute to set up and take down, so you better be ready to get whatever part you want on the screen up and down in a quick time. 1 minute, and if after 1 minute it starts to come off of your time. So keep that in mind. Here, what are those presentations? What should they be like? Man, have a good time with this. Every one of these presentations should start off with one thing. The wouldn't it be cool if statement. And I can't remember if we talked about this before, but wouldn't it be cool if is where you tell me about why you did this project. If we don't understand the motivation for this project or why we should pay attention, then all the rest of it that you tell us is going to be meaningless. So tell us, wouldn't it be cool if, and start your presentation, if I had to spend time with any part helping us understand why what you're doing is important, how it makes Athens a better place. That makes a lot more difference than any of the technology that involves. So think about that. Focus on that. The purpose of this experiment, the purpose of this presentation is to sell us on the overall idea that you're working on and help us develop confidence that you can make it happen. Don't give us the technical details yet. Just tell us about how it's going to work. Give us an understanding of what the pieces are. Tell us the things that you know can come together on, and help us understand that you really know what you're talking about. So that's the whole part. Sell us on the idea. This is the pilot presentation where we're getting down to understanding in a general way the project. The next presentation is about implementation. So we want to get to that later on, but we'll talk about how to make that work. The other thing I'm going to tell you about this is have a good time with it. There are no rules about how you do this. Should you have a PowerPoint? Hey, that's up to you. Should you have more than one person in your group talk? That's up to you. I want you to think about what can be the most persuasive. And I will tell you that one of the things that every person who comes to our program and says, when I ask them, what do you want more from our students? The thing that they say is they need communicators. They need somebody that can stand up in front of a group and explain a technology. That is a very marketable skill. So I want you to think about that, and remember, more than anything else, help us understand what the project is going to be like. Now, I've already told you, I've sent you via the email that you don't have to come to class as long as you watch this. I encourage you guys on Friday to get together and run through what your presentation is going to be. Practice it. As you practice, so you play. Do yourself a favor and really work on going through it exactly as you would. Don't allow anybody in your group to say, oh, I'll get it right when we do it on Monday. Promise me that you'll run through it at least 3 times. Hell, forget that. Promise me you'll run through it 5 times. 5 times. That's going to be the way that you make sure it works that way. And, think about all the details. We're going to be doing it in that class, and you want to be able to bang through and make it all work. So anyway, that's what needs to happen on Monday. I'll be there a little bit ahead of time for us on Monday to make sure that we've got everything set up, but it's up to you to make sure all the pieces come together. Now, like I said, I'm sorry that I'm not with you guys again. I hope you still think that we've had some useful and educational experiences, even though I haven't been physically present with you in the classroom. I hear you guys have done a great job with our visiting guest speakers, and I'm impressed with how well you've done on the exam. Let's keep up the good work and finish the drill. And I will see you on Monday. Go Dogs!